What's going on, everyone? So, D'Angelo Russell in the game against the San Antonio Spurs was really good, right? It's not his best game per se this season, but I think it was his most confident game, in my opinion, right? You look at the stat line, gave you 17 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, was 7 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 6 from three-point range, 1 steal, no turnovers. I was a plus 19 overall. He was our highest plus minus at a plus 19. Again, a really good game from D'Angelo Russell. It was a really good game from the Lakers, period, right? Connect led all scorers. Reeves was good. LeBron had a triple-double. AD had, a near triple-double at 19, 14, and 7 with some blocks and steals. LeBron struggled shooting the basketball, but still, it was a nice collective game. Even Max Christie, I talked about, where I said that I believe that this was his best game. Go check out that video if you want to know why I believe that. But again, D'Angelo Russell, you look at just the box score of this game. It's like, oh, well, he had 18 the first bench game, right, where he came off the bench. He had 15. He's had a couple nice games where, he's giving you 18, 20, but, on efficiency and stuff. But it was, again, the way that he played this game. He was very decisive. He knew what he wanted to do while he was in the process doing it. He looked more like he did last year. Where this year, for the most part, he's looked just bad. Now, it has been an adjustment period for Austin Reeves, right? Or for D'Angelo Russell because of Austin Reeves, right? Last year, D'Lo was the third guy. He was the guy that was operated as the third guy. And this year, it's Austin Reeves. And Austin Reeves is playing more on ball. Austin Reeves is kind of taken over and played the D'Angelo Russell role from last year. So D'Lo's kind of been pushed back to the back burner. And then also with the style of offense we're running, right? Unless D'Lo is just shooting the lights out, you don't really need him, right, as much. Because he doesn't defend, he doesn't give you athleticism, right? You don't need his playmaking as much. Obviously, it's great when he gives you 5, 6, 7 assists, but it's not as big of a necessity. Where last season, you really needed D'Lo to kind of come in. When LeBron went to the bench or missed the game, he was the guy you needed. Hey, you got to get us 8 assists. Where this game, it's more so just about his shooting and scoring. And so I get it's a process. It's a learning period. It's a learning curve. Right? He's playing a completely different role. He's moving into the 6-man role, which he's been good in that role. And because he's the 6th man, it kind of has offset some of his deficiencies. Now, look, this doesn't mean you don't trade D'Angelo Russell or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm getting at. I, again, would be shocked and surprised if D'Angelo Russell is not in a different jersey come the trade deadline. I'll be surprised if he's on the Lakers past the trade deadline, right? So, but as long as D'Lo is on this team until we pull off a trade, you need the best version of D'Lo possible, right? Again, trade D'Lo. I believe that you have to trade him. But until then, you need these type of games from D'Angelo Russell. It's not just that he was scoring the basketball. It's not that he gave you, 8 or 17 on 7 of 11 and 3 of 6. It was the confidence, the way he played, right? The way he got to the rim, which he's done a much better job of that this season, of just kind of getting to the rim, period. But he was just, you saw what appeared to be a glimpse of D'Lo last season. And I hope that is maybe the beginning stage. Even last year, D'Angelo Russell, through the first 15, 20 games, D'Lo was awful, right? I don't know if you remember, but he was shooting 31% from three-point range. He was really having his struggles. It was this guy clearly isn't it, and then he just had that game, and I think he had 27 that game, and all of a sudden he just figured it out. Right? And he was efficient. He was good. He was clear-cut third-best guy. Ended up setting literal records for the Lakers and stuff, and was having a career year. I'm hopeful that this is kind of the beginning of that. Hopeful that this is the beginning of him kind of getting his confidence back up, getting his swagger back up a little bit. He's not the third guy anymore. And that in and of itself is an adjustment period, is a learning period. And he is a rhythm and movement guy, right? He needs to get the reps up. right? We've seen D'Lo go, 1 of 4, and then all of a sudden he's like 6 of 10, right? Like, because once he starts getting it going, then he starts getting it going. Now, he doesn't have the best shot selection at times, and even this game, he took a 3 that was just ill-advised, because he wasn't like shooting the lights out. Like, usually you knock down 2, 3, 4 in a row. It's like, okay, well, heat check. Like, he kind of did the heat check, but he wasn't really like on fire like that at that moment. So again, his shot selection could be a little better, but more so again, his playmaking, his versatility. It's why I've talked about even like having Rui Hachimura off the bench, where he can be more of a focal point, kind of give D'Lo guys that he can make plays to. D'Lo is also one of the few guys that regularly gets Dalton Connect the basketball too. Like, he actively tries to find Dalton Connect. And I've showed the stat, and I've talked about it before. D'Angelo Russell and Dalton Connect are the best duo, or second best duo in the NBA behind Jamal Murray and Jokic. Why? Because, again, Connect can light it up in a hurry, and it's usually when D'Lo's out on the basketball court, because D'Lo's one of the few guys that's actively getting Connect the basketball. Now, again, I'm not saying that, because of Connect, you have to keep D'Lo. No, but it just shows D'Lo's willingness to kind of get other guys involved, and it's why I really like the idea of him off the bench. I still think Reeves off the bench as like your sixth man is probably the best option, just because he's best in that like attack mode role, right? He's not really a real playmaker, and he can be inconsistent. And like when you have him off the Reeves or off the bench, I like Reeves in that 6-man role, but D'Lo in that 6-man role, I do think gives you a little more versatility in the sense of like, okay, LeBron goes to the bench, now you can bring D'Lo in, and you have that playmaker, you have a guy that can do things. Yes, it's not needed as much as it has been in previous years, but it's still something that's nice to have, that at any moment in a pinch, it's just like, hey, D'Lo, here's the ball, go to work, right? And you can kind of have that, and it's why I like Rui off the bench, because now you have D'Lo and Rui, and D'Lo now has that guy that he can kind of run the offense through and help him cook. You can take Reeves and LeBron off and put him on the bench, at the 7-minute mark or whatever, insert D'Lo and Rui Hachimura. I just think that gives you so much better balance, personally. Those are my thoughts, but I like what D'Lo did in this game. And I do think it was worth, because I have been incredibly critical of D'Lo. Most of us are, right? I've talked heavily about D'Lo. I know I've talked a lot about Austin Reeves too, and it's warranted. But I've talked a lot about D'Angelo Russell. And I repeatedly talk about how he's the guy that's getting traded. I mean, like I said, even in this video, he's going to get traded, right? And he should be traded. He's a redundancy on this team. But I do think, just like when Reeves has moments where he deserves praise, I praise him, right? Like Christie. I made a video about Christie. I've talked about how bad Christie has been, right? Like, when guys deserve the criticism, I gladly criticize. But when they deserve a bit of praise here, it's a bit of praise, right? And again, I'm hopeful. Obviously, we have to see it happen, but I'm hopeful that this is the beginning of D'Angelo Russell kind of getting his swagger back a little bit. D'Angelo Russell getting back into kind of a bit of a rhythm and flow for the Lakers, because we really need it. We need D'Lo to be the best version that he can be until we pull off a trade. So if we can get him back to being a 17-5 guy, especially off the bench, that would be huge for the Lakers. Huge. Because now you have just that legit offensive threat off the bench. You now legit have a guy that can just make plays and score and take pressure off of LeBron and all that, right? And I like that he kind of, Chris Paul kind of gave him that cheap shot, and D'Lo, gave him one back. I love that, right? I love that. Now, no one's scared of D'Lo. No one thinks D'Lo's a tough guy, but it just showed in that game he had his confidence. He had his swag. He had that bit of like, all right, watch what I'm about to do. And we need him to be that. Right now, he is shooting 30% from 3. Last 2 seasons with the Lakers, he was 41%. Even with Minnesota, he was 39%. Right? Like, we need him to get back to that, because the better D'Lo is, the better the Lakers are going to be, until, again, you can pull off some type of trade. So hopefully we see that with him. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you believe that D'Angelo Russell is a guy that can kind of get himself together, can kind of get back in order? Do you think that he's a guy that will kind of figure some stuff out? Do you think like, no, he's not, he's trash, get rid of him? I get the sentiment either way, but again, I liked the way he played. Again, this wasn't his, I don't even think this was his best game of the season, efficiency, scoring wise, or anything like that. But it was the way, it was the style in which he played. It was the swagger in which he played. Like, that is where I think the value was. But again, how do you feel? Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.